Wajuna radio Alinafe.
It is time for the newscast here on Alinafe, the station that deepens love in a society. And this evening, you're with me, Chinyama, Lipiya. But first, let's look at the headlines. The former Attorney General, Kalonzo, has spent a night in police custody in Lilongwe following his arrest yesterday. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has expressed worries and continued tendency of some Malawians who use chartered routes to South Africa and end up being deported. Police in Blantyre are keeping a student from Mobas for allegedly entering into his fellow student's house and went away with a laptop computer. We have this and other stories. Stay tuned for news in detail. Now we give you the news in detail. The former Attorney General, Kalonzo, has spent a night in police custody in Lilongwe following his arrest yesterday. Public Relations Officer for Central Region Police, Alfred Chintere Banda, has confirmed the development. Banda said Kapale was arrested on 30th March for violating road traffic regulations and assaulting a police officer on duty. He's being kept at Area 3 Central Region Police. McDonald Katewela caught up with Chintere Banda.
Yes, he's been held at the Lilongwe station for an offense of drink and drive. So he's been in custody for the past night. That's what I can say. Drink and drive traffic offense is the charge that has been held for the previous night. It occurred at around area 18. That's where he was picked by the officers. So he spent the night in custody at the Lilongwe police.
A human rights body, Human Rights Consultative Committee, HRCC, says it will soon start consulting different government departments to discuss issues to do with protecting rights of the citizenry. This follows consultation with Council for Non-Governmental Organizations in Malawi, Kongoma, on the status of human rights in the country. Board chairperson of HRCC, Robert Nkwezalamba, says they want to meet government and discuss some issues that are infringing people's rights in the country. Nkwezalamba has hinted out that they have written government and some departments on the same. He explains to our reporter, Lester Mahoney.
Through our engagement with Kongoma, we resolved to consolidate the issues to say, what are we going to focus on? Sometimes it doesn't help just to be hitting here and there. We needed to have a concrete position which we can even share with government. So we had to look at the violations of human rights that have been happening since 2020. This new administration came in office, and we realized that some of the violations have happened in the past. They are recurring, which means we have not changed. When we change governments, I think the intention is to ensure that we would want to change the way things are being done, and it's sad that we still have those issues, and these are the ones that motivated us to come up with this position. We have already isolated issues which are supposed to go to Ministry of Justice, issues which are supposed to go to the judiciary, because there are issues, for instance, of judicial accountability, inadequate funding. The Ministry of Finance has to also come in. There are issues we need to take to them to say perhaps these departments are lying, that they don't have adequate funding. There are issues that we need to take to police through the Inspector General of Police, the heavy-handedness of the police against citizens. There are issues that we need to subject them to civic awareness, civic education and awareness to the public on matters of taking the law in our own hands. But over and above that is to push to ensure that where rights have been violated, justice must prevail, and that entails that police, the courts, must work diligently to ensure that they protect the interests and rights of its citizens.
President Lazarus Chakwera has today opened the 2022 tobacco marketing season at Kanengo auction floors. In his remarks, President Lazarus Chakwera says that those farmers who have quality tobacco will get good prices on the market. Our reporter, Jameson Joy Kalimba, has more.
During the official opening of tobacco market season at Kanengo auction floors, President Lazarus Chakwera said tobacco still remains the main cash crop in the country as it helps the country in terms of foreign exchange. Chakwera said tobacco contributes gross domestic product, GDP, to the country, hence urging the citizenry to have interest in the tobacco sector. Chakwera said the market has been opened area in order to ease some of the challenges affecting farmers in the country.
I am encouraged. I cannot say I'm completely happy because some of the meeting I had with the farmers, some of them indicated that on a first day like this, when the prices look somewhat good, when I'm gone, then the prices begin to come down. So they would rather see a progression in terms of prices going up, not down, when we leave this place.
In his remarks, Minister of Agriculture Robin Lowe says there will be high competition at the market following the coming in of Malawian buyer of tobacco called Indigenous Malawian Company. According to Lowe, tobacco is the sole hope to improve living standards of people, hence the needs for prices to remain constant. Meanwhile, one of the farmers, Zakaria Kasangaza, has commended this year's prices during the start of tobacco market. For Radio Alinafe in Lilongwe, this is Jameson Joy Kalimba.
The Center for Democracy and Economic Development Initiative, CEDED, has noted with concern on the continued careless plundering of public resources by the Tonse Alliance administration. The remarks follows the recent crop inspection by President Lazarus Chakwera. CEDED Executive Director Sylvester Namiwa said President Chakwera is using 300 million kwacha on every traveler visiting people who are failing to even afford basic needs. Namiwa has since asked President Chakwera to trim his cabinet from 32 to 20 and his advisors from 20 to 5 in order to save money. Our reporter, Mr. Chimara, caught up with Sylvester Namiwa.
We have made demands and recommendations, and they are as follows. One, the president should immediately stop his crisscrossing the country. Someone who is coming fresh from sharing a committee of poorest countries cannot go straight into a spending spree of the very same limited resources. Therefore, he should stay put in office. Secondly, the president, his cabinet, including the vice president, they should cut their salaries by half. At the same time, the president should trim his cabinet from 32 to 20. He should also chop his village of advisors from 22 to 5. If anything, the president should borrow a reef from late Magufuli, who transformed Zambia in a period of 6 years without getting out of Africa. The president should be delegating our high commissioners and ambassadors elsewhere, or else where it is critically important, the president should attend such meetings visually until the economy is fixed.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has expressed worries over continued tendency of some Malawians who use uncharted routes to South Africa and end up being deported. Foreign Affairs spokesperson John Kawai said this on Monday after the arrival of 116 Malawians deported from South Africa. Kawale said some of the Malawians were detained at Lindela camp in South Africa. We caught up with John Kawai.
It's a great concern for government that Malawians are still using irregular channels to go to South Africa. As you may be aware, irregular channels of migration present a risk of trafficking in persons. So we do not want to allow Malawians to subject themselves to trafficking in persons. So we are trying to encourage Malawians all over, to ensure that they are using the regular channels of migration. Government of South Africa deported a total of 116 Malawians on 10th of March, and all of them have arrived safely in Malawi. We would like to encourage Malawians who have got plans to immigrate to anywhere, not only to South Africa, but to anywhere around the world, to ensure that they have followed proper, regular migration channels. There are procedures that they can follow in order to migrate legally. The challenge that they will have if they migrate illegally or using